Theme song. Oh, theme song. Three, two, one. This is LinkedIn Logs. And welcome back to LinkedIn Logs. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier business podcast for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. LinkedIn Logs, episode 19, I believe. If you're watching the video, you just saw me make a face. Nova. You just saw me make a face. I don't know if this came across, but I pressed to set the scene. Also, I've done this show in like 4 months. To set the scene, I started the program, press record on OBS, which I use to record, which I have not been able to use it because for some reason it has been working with Mac. It has not been recognizing my external Logitech webcam. And I press record on Audition, press record on OBS, and a giant thumbs up appeared next to my head. If you can't see it, then I seem insane. But a giant thumbs up in thought bubble form popped up, and it was animated, and it gave me a big old thumbs up, and I just went, "What in the world is that?" Because I've never seen that before, and I don't know what it was, and I'm concerned. But here we are. Gotta start the timer. Okay, so as I do this podcast now, which I put on hold for a little bit, mostly because I was too tired from actually working to record pretty much anything, I come back to you with, what's today? The 9th. I have exactly, tomorrow would be 11. So I have exactly 12 days left on my contract. Well, after today, I have 12 days left, or 11 days left. And I'm at a point where there's nothing in sight. No matter how hard I try, no matter who I talk to. In fact, let me check my work email one more time. Now, I will preface it with this. We are in the midst of a move, which to me doesn't make sense. Like the way I've been scheduled for the past several weeks is I've been thrown in to hours I've never usually worked, like at 5 a.m. on a Saturday and Sunday, which is not ideal for a 30-year-old person who wants to go out and do things. And also for a person in general who wakes up at 4 during the week. I at least want one day where I could sleep in, besides taking the dog out. Who isn't, I'll tell you this right now, dog's in trouble. I went to go wash my car. I came back home from work, took him out to pee, went to go wash my car, which is downstairs. Just went. It's probably 20, 30 minutes. I usually leave him alone for 30 minutes or so without being in the crate. He gets into some trouble sometimes, but nothing horrendous. He hasn't destroyed anything in a long time. He destroyed one boxing glove, so now I have to buy a new set of gloves. He destroyed. Thank goodness I moved to my yoga blocks because he's done that before. But you can probably see them back here on the video. And he destroyed a training mask, which cuts off airflow, and it's a whole thing. Anyway, he destroyed that. Now he's in trouble. Now he's in his crate. You're not supposed to punish him by putting him in the crate, but he pissed me off. Let's get back to this. So now we're at a point where we're moving. They sold CNN Center. I guess as a cost-cutting measure. They sold CNN Center, and they're moving everybody to, I don't know if it's a hybrid situation, but everybody's being moved to the other Atlanta campus, which is Techwood, which is where I originally was when I was at Cartoon Network, before they moved over to Adult Swim, and before I moved over to the unemployment line. I've been my entire life living in Georgia, suburbs of Atlanta, coming down here to see, to experience CNN Center and in its heyday when it was great to be there. I mean, it was if you've never been to CNN Center when there was a basketball game and a football game, and then when the Braves were downtown. I mean, it was, and then just things happening downtown, the Olympics, concerts, all that stuff. I mean, truly, it was just even before the pandemic, it was a very robust and bustling place, and you hear it all the time. You hear infrastructure, things that just don't bounce back, and CNN Center was definitely one of those. And I've been there as a spectator, a person who's gone to a Hawks game, and you go there, you go grab a Chick-fil-A sandwich when I ate fast food, or what I call it fast casual, but you go there, you grab some food in the food court, you sit, they have CNN on a big screen. The offices above you are all CNN. There's a hotel connected to it. I've never been inside of it. But then you go over to the State Farm Arena, or excuse me, at the time, I think it was called something else. Now I've been calling State Farm Arena for so long. Turner Arena? No, it wasn't. That wasn't it. But it was just a whole different lifestyle. Now you're there, and it's dead. And I was even there when I used to work there at Starbucks, at Sparbucks, at Spartux. I used to work there, and even then it was a very, that was in 2018, I think. And that was even a very bustling, I was dating somebody at the time, and they did not know where I worked. That's how embarrassed I was. And it was a very bustling place to be. The Starbucks used to sit almost directly in the middle of the whole place. So I mean, if you've never been in CNN Center, what I can tell you is I could just pull up a page, but I'm very concerned about this, about OBS doing another thing that I do not agree with, and breaking the camera video. But what I can say is that you walk in and you see immediately a food court, and all it's like a giant circle of food court. There was a Cartoon Network store, an Atlanta souvenir store, and then just a bunch of other stores. And then above you, on the next floor, it was all open area, would be offices that go up and studios that you couldn't see, but offices that go up, and a very long escalator. And that's what CNN Center was. And it was CNN. That's where CNN was. The Atlanta bureau. Then there's the Washington bureau, the New York bureaus, and the California IA ones, which I believe is in Los Angeles, which would make sense. Then there's bureaus all over the place, but those are the main ones that they generally work out of: Atlanta, New York, Washington, Los Angeles. And to see it now, everybody's moved out. I mean, truly, I think the most amount of people that are employed by CNN that work on shows, because I truly think it's only people that work on shows, and our editors and such, and things like that. I would be surprised if it's more than 50 people that are still going into that building, out of hundreds of people. Now it's just dead. Starbucks is gone and never came back. I remember when I interviewed, and then I got the tour, which is also a very sad tour. But I got the tour of CNN, and I was like, I asked the person who would now be my supervisor, like, what happened to Starbucks? Oh, they never made it back. I was like, oh man, I used to work there. She's like, oh my God, yeah. I mean, there's nothing there. There's nothing there, and it's so derelict. In fact, last Friday I was working, and not Friday. It couldn't have been Friday. It had to be Wednesday. No, it could have been Wednesday. Probably Tuesday. Today's Monday. It was not Saturday. Let's just say it was Tuesday. I was told there was a gym there. So there's a gym at the Techwood campus. You know where Shaq, Ernie, the guys, the rest, where they hang out, shooting their NBA on TNT. Big old basketball court. I assume that's where some of the MLB broadcasters live. Maybe the NHL people. Actually, I don't think. I think they live in New York. Anyway, but I don't know where I was talking about. Oh, but I was told there was a gym there, and so for these past couple of months, I'm like going, where's it? Where is it? And I've been asking people, hey, you know where the gym is? You know where the gym is? And then the gym at the Techwood campus is great. It's a very good modern place. They have power block dumbbells right next to treadmills. They have regular dumbbells. They've got free weights, all this stuff. It's great yet condensed. I would say it's bigger than my regular gym, which is also already fairly small. But it's got most of the things I need. Let's say like 95% of things I need. I still have to hang my own boxing bag every Thursday. I threw some punches for the audios. Adios for the audios. Adios. I gotta fill the time. I have nothing. I'm just gonna talk about CNN Center, and it's a fairly well kitted out gym, and the locker rooms are just divine. But I have so much free time during my schedule. Also, side note, I was talking to a recruiter from Warner. I reached out. I applied to a couple of jobs, and I reached out. I reach out every time I apply internally to a job, and I'm sorry, Maverick's locked up, and I think he can hear me talk, but he also might be crying. He does that, and I hate that. He's definitely crying. Anyway, it's so annoying. I should have fully just let him out, but he needs to learn his lesson. Anyway, I finally I'm walking around, and people have told me the past couple of months where his place is, and they've had bad descriptions. Then I finally just go, you know what, I'm gonna ask one of the security officers that work for CNN. So I go down to the bottom level and I ask one of the security officers, and he's like, oh, yeah, man, just go around to this corner, blah. I go around as soon as I walk in. It is, oh, Jesus Christ in heaven. He is just whining. I'll be right back. I'm not going to stop this show. I want to keep it going. No, I'm not going to keep it going. I can't pause the audio and the video. You're just going to have to listen to me do this. All right, give me 1 second. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today. Can it be center field? Don't come over here. We're not talking right now. No. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna leave all that in. This is the business podcast. Wearing a Columbia shirt I washed my car in. Anyway. So the gym is, I walk in, I immediately, it's ensconced in whatever year it was built, 1980 something. It truly, you walk in there, it's first gigantic. There's a basketball court, there's a lap pool, there, and what else? Obviously free weights and rooms. Pilates rooms and yoga rooms and cycling rooms and all that stuff. And there's also an antiquated, imagine going to a YMCA in 1982, and there's that indoor track that goes through the gym, so you can do a lap through the gym, and it's just, it's it's an antiquated place. And also for these gyms, obviously you have to pay. I think right now they're in a free enrollment period, but I think it is, oh God, I know it's, go. No, you're in trouble. I think it is it's either a I think it's a $35 fee or a $50 fee. I know it's cheaper than my current gym, which I don't want to be too specific about what I pay for it. It's not expensive, but if I'm too specific, then the world will know where I go to the gym. But I go in there and if you go into these gyms, there's often the gyms from at work and in particular the Warner Brother gyms. I went on the website. Websites are fine. They should definitely upload pictures to them. I think the California gym is the only one that has a lot of pictures in it. I don't think it was either California or New York that had a lot of pictures, and then the opposite of that one, California or New York, didn't. Jeez, of course he got through the barrier. Didn't have pictures at all. And then the Georgia one, the Atlanta ones, excuse me, had like a couple of pictures. And I don't think I looked at Washington. Anyway, but you go in there, the workers are surprised. Oh, someone's here. I mean, to be fair, I walked into the to the CNN one, and there were two women walking on a treadmill, and then one guy had worked out and taken a shower, and he was walking up with his bag. But I had to sign a waiver just to walk around and give myself a tour. I wasn't dressed for anything, and she also seemed bothered by the fact I asked that. You want to? It's a gym. I'm like, no, I just want to see. I said literally was like, hey, before we leave, I just want to see what this looks like. She's like, all right. Signed a paper. Had to walk her. I didn't have to. I walked around and looked at the gym. I'm not kidding, and I'm not kidding. I've spoken in hyperbole on all three of these podcasts, LinkedIn Logs, Constitutionals, and Late Night Lately before, and I generally try not to speak in hyperbole. This is the oldest gym I've ever been to in my entire life. I mean, it was. I don't think one thing was past the year 2005. I would be so surprised. Like, I think everything on my desk right now, a Mac Mini, the USB 4 Thunderbolt hub, that I don't know if I ever mentioned that, but I have one. This curved monitor, my phone, my iPad, even this Hydro Flask are more advanced. This mouse, Logitech MX Master 3, is more advanced than anything inside that gym. I will say this, though. That basketball court was really cool. And I mean, it's just a regular basketball court, but it's inside. And then there's a pool. It is so interesting to me. Like I would love to go back in time and see this place in its heyday. When I was in high school, coming down here for, basketball games, I would love to see this place, CNN Center, and work at CNN in its heyday. Go to that gym. It's probably $20 back then too. As if I'm like old. It's probably $7. President Truman probably went there himself. Couldn't think of a president quick enough. Do you know? A little side note here. I was reading. I don't know what news organization put this out, but they're talking about Hunter Biden's dog, not Hunter. Excuse me. President Biden, Joe, and Jill. Their dog, Commander, had to. It bit 11 people, and they sent it back home to Delaware. And the other dog, I don't know, Trooper, I guess. That one, maybe a year ago, was sent to another home in Vermont. I think that's where the two dogs were, because they were sent separate places. Anyway, I would send it with the other one to let it go hang out and be friends. But that's like the people are acting like it's the only dog first of all, the only pet to do anything rascally inside the White House. Apparently, Theodore Roosevelt had like a lion cub. He had like all these exotic. What other animals were there? I know he had a lion cub, but like other exotic animals have lived in the White House, and they destroyed things like a sloth. It's crazy. It was so interesting to see, and basically they just. I mean, obviously, back in the early 1900s, you could have whatever animals you wanted. You probably get 6 horses inside the White House in 1898, and nobody would bat an eye. Baton Rouge, and okay, but now we're in the midst of moving, and I spent all that time talking about going to get my dog, talking about the gym, but now we're in the midst of moving and going back to an office where I'd already been at. I'd already been at before I mean, truly, any of the people that I've worked with, like none of those people have been to Techwood. Like it's fascinating to see people react to a new space, so um, openly, like the way some of these, even the producers have been just freaking out, like, "Whoa, you guys been to Techwood? They have this place you can sit and you can eat your lunch, and you can see the sky and stuff. You don't have to sit downtown anymore. I mean, it's a courtyard, you know." But I feel it feels like I graduated college when I was laid off. But I feel like because I was there for 2.5 years, I graduated college, and then I went to grad school, and then it's like, oh no, I'm going to transfer back to I'm going to go finish grad school at my other the place where I was before, and I come back and I know where everything is, but it still feels kind of so strange. Guys, hey, please, Jiminy Christmas. And that's what it feels like. And but how to survive these office moves? I mean, besides layoffs, I think office moves can also be just really detrimental. Let's see, so they were in the midst of moving when I started at CNN, and then I was told it was going to take 3 months, basically the length of my contract or so, 3 or 4 months, and when I arrived, it was like already empty, and I can only imagine, what it was like even a year ago. Because sit, good boy. I can only imagine what it was a year ago, because I mean, even in May, or when did I get hired? June, it was just dead. Or July, excuse me. July, it was deader than doorknobs. And now it's nothing. Truly, like it's seriously nothing. Because I have, like, I don't have a desk there. I don't have anything. All I have is the backpack I carry and whatever's inside it, like my iPad and my water, and my coffee. I mean, it's you feel like you don't have any ties. You feel like you don't have any connections, and I like right back where I started with things like eating lunch alone, and just walking around kind of aimlessly sometimes. Also, what's bad about the move? Jesus, I mean, they're both equidistant from my house. I would be driving max 10 minutes either way. Although one of them, I would have to hit the highway for Techwood. I'd hit the highway for Techwood. And even if I stay in the right lane for that one exit it takes, oh boy, it's trouble. Trouble sometimes, especially those weird hours at work. But you get there and you walk around, and my position is so, and I would say CNN too, is kind of it's a lonely position. You don't really see people unless you are scheduled on the same shows, which you're not all the time, and unless you make like a 20,000% effort to get to know some people, then it's just kind of it's a difficult proposition to hold that some type of relationship with another human being on campus. Or you're just kind of just sitting there and walking out. But also the worst part about the move is that at CNN Center I could disappear. I like if I'm not doing a show, I could disappear and I could lay down somewhere and take a nap. I've been all over this campus at Techwood, and there's not one place I can go and take a nap. There's even if you it's so strange, because I assume at Google or Facebook, any one of these tech companies, you can go around. You can work outside. There's places and stuff, and here they try to foster that idea of, you can sit in the courtyard and work outside. Like, no one's gonna give a crap. But it's very interesting because Like I'll do things like because I've been going there, once a week for the past couple of weeks, but I'll for work, not to hang out. I don't want to do that. But I will imagine if I had like a gym membership there, and I was like, well, I guess I'll go to work to go work out, which I would do, not for $50 a month though, plus the $30 sign up fee. I think that's how much. I think it's a $50 sign up fee and a $30 a month, which is still cheaper than my gym. Even if it was at $50 a month, it'd still be cheaper than my gym slightly. But I sit in the courtyard because I'm not doing anything. There's not really other places where you can sit besides the cafeteria area, and there's like some free floating desks and everything, but there's not really places that you go sit. I on last Wednesday, I sat and I did a mix of outside and inside, and there's only one floor that's right now occupied. There's multiple buildings on campus, but in this particular building where the studios are, there's one floor that is truly full of CNN people. At least it was when I arrived a couple of weeks ago. But last week I went up there, and it was a different, a good amount of people up there. But I sat in the break area. It's not. Hey, chill. I sat in the break area. There's no break room. It's just like a break area with a couple of booths and like tables and stuff, and you could charge your phone, and several coffee and water spots and everything. And it's a very open space, and there's like TV playing CNN, and you're supposed to like congregate and hang out and stuff. So I'm using it for what it's supposed to be used for, and I sat there for maybe an hour. I had my iPad, had the keyboard attachment, so it looked like a laptop, and I was working, and I was just like reading news articles and listening to an audiobook and everything. And people were walking by, looking at me as if I was an alien who came down to Earth, and I was studying human beings. Like I just truly, I just had that in front of me. I'm just like typing away, and I would see people like just walking by, like just looking at me like, what the heck is that gonna do? This is where we eat for 20 minutes, and then we come back, and we go back to our desk and have live sad lives and talk about UGA playing on Saturday. Maverick, stop! Hey, jeez Louise, man. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Mostly, stop. Hey. So that's what going back to it is like. I think people have to be in office 3 days a week there. If you work in the control room, if you work on shows, you got to be there every shift. I don't have the luxury of deciding when to go. Do you have the luxury of deciding when to record this show? What else is going on at work? Working on it. Just that's it. That's pretty much it. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where we've got interviews with your favorite, where I interview people. It's part of my portfolio, chadcwhite.com. Go to my portfolio. And I interview people. I interview famous people. I talk to regular old idiots. I'm not talking to the trash. You hear this voice? This voice is meant to live with the stars, baby. And if you want to see a video version of the show, youtube.com/cpluscomedy. Follow us on all social media platforms. Oh, shoot. I guess I have to do a Threads account. Anyway, at cpluscomedy, at Chad Black White. Hey, no, sir. Rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends. If you got a job, you should hire me. And that's the end of the show. I'm going to go put this dog back in the crate because he's pissed me off because I also have 2 more shows to do. All right. Well, bye. Test. Guys.